Hello, so welcome to day one of my Self-Care Success for Mamas challenge. It's really great to have you here. I'm so glad that you can join me. I have a dog on my lap, so this is my dog. This is my beautiful Coco. Let me show you. Oh, anyway, she insists on sitting on my lap when I'm sitting in the kitchen working, so she'll be joining us for most of our videos. Anyway. So yes, it's really great to have you here. The fact that you have chosen to be part of this Self-Care Success for Mamas challenge is in itself an amazing step in self-care, and I'm really positive and confident and excited about what's going to happen over the next 5 days. So yeah, I'm sitting in my kitchen. This is where I work from primarily. And you can see behind me there are bottles of wine. I had a wonderful party yesterday. It was our Christmas party that we have every year with the grand turning on of the Marshall family Christmas tree lights. And we had a lot of people here, and it was absolutely amazing. And that is, for me, although it's hard work and it's tiring, it's absolutely wonderful. And that for me is a part of my self-care. And what I want to talk about today is about your ideal self-care plan. Like, what would it look like if there was nothing getting in the way of your self-care? And when I say nothing, like, I'm kind of saying, you know, in your head, get rid of your children, get rid of any partners or business or chores, anything, just get rid of it all. We're looking at what would be your ideal self-care plan. Like, what would that look like? Because here's the thing about yes parenting. You know, the focus is we start from yes. We say yes to our children's needs, to their interests and their preferences, and as much as possible to their desires. But we're also saying yes to ourselves. So we're saying yes to our needs, to our interests, our preferences, and as much as possible to our desires. Because when our cup is overflowing, then we're in a brilliant position to take care of those around us, you know, who genuinely need us. So let's focus today on this ideal self-care plan, because it's going to look different for everybody. You know, people will say, you know, why don't you have a lovely hot bath? But, you know, some people hate hot baths. My mum, for example, can't bear bubble baths. She says that the bubbles in a bubble bath just feel cold when she gets in. So, you know, some people love a long, hot bubble bath and other people hate it. I happen to love it. I happen to love lying in a hot bath that's so hot that it kind of takes me a while to get in, because I do that and I kind of ease in and my skin goes bright red, and but I love that, and I love the sweating, and I like to make shapes with the bubbles, and I like to kind of poof them up in the air, and I really love that. But you know, not everyone does. So this is about your ideal self-care plan. Like, as a mum, like, what would you, or as a woman even, like, what would that ideal look like? Like, what time would you get up in the morning? What would be the first thing that you would do? How would you feed yourself if you were, like, going through this ideal self-care process? Like, what would you spend your time doing? How would you speak to yourself? So I've been exploring this for a long time. I used to get caught up with a whole host of beliefs and stories, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. But, you know, I used to feel guilty about taking time for myself. I used to think that I didn't have enough time to do it, or enough energy, or I didn't deserve it. There were a whole layers and layers and layers of things going on for me when it came to my self-care. And what it meant was essentially that I put everybody else first. I felt bad if I started to put myself first. I thought, well, if I've got time to do something nice for myself, I should use that time to look after the people around me. And pretty much it was rubbish. And over time, I've kind of explored all of this, and I'm going to share as much as I can with you during these 5 days. Hopefully keeping these videos quite short, because I know how busy you are. Right now, some of you will have children saying, "Mummy, can I have a drink?" Others might have children calling you from upstairs. And you might be thinking, God, I've really got to get going on my lunch or breakfast or the packed lunches, whatever. So I want to try and keep these videos short. So this is about your ideal self-care plan. And what would that look like? So for me, it's about getting up earlier than everybody else. It's about making time most days to journal and to write a gratitude letter. Notice that I say most days, because if I say every day, I find that I set myself up with an expectation that I know that I'm not going to meet. So for me, an ideal is not to do it every day. An ideal is to do it most days. And to exercise, to eat foods that make me feel great, and to avoid foods that make me feel rubbish. And the other thing for me that's so important for my self-care is quality time with my friends. So, I know these things, and I can go into detail in those, like what I want that to look like what kind of time I want to get up, so how much time I want to myself in the morning, what I want to be kind of like journaling about, what my notebook's going to look like when I journal, whether I'm going to use a pen or a pencil. I happen to love those retractable pencils because the nib is always exactly how I need it to be and I don't have to sharpen them. Like, that is a self-care thing for me, is to always have like an abundance of propeller pencils. Oh yeah, propeller, not retractable. Propeller pencils. To have an abundance of propeller pencils in my home is a self-care thing for me, because that's how I love to write with propeller pencils. And the foods that I eat, I consciously try to nourish my body, because what we eat really does have such a huge impact on our emotions and our physical well-being and our energy levels. So all of these things come into my ideal self-care plan. Now, the next question then is, after you have started to think about like, what if I could experience anything in terms of self-care in my life right now, what is it that I want to experiencing? What is it that I want to experience that I'm not currently experiencing? Okay, so that's your ideal self-care plan. The next question is, what's important about that? So when you're experiencing this ideal self-care plan, why is that important? Like, what impact is that going to have on you, on your children, on your romantic partner if you have one, on your work, on your home, on your friends, on your family? What is the impact going to be? And I want you to just ask yourself that question, like, God, if I start to take care of myself and I have more energy and I feel more organized and on top of things, and I'm really nourishing my body and I'm taking care of it on the inside and the outside, and I'm out and about as much as I want to be, and I'm getting this connection with my family and my friends, and I'm, when I'm doing these things, like, what impact is that going to have? How will this change your current experience of being a mum and being a woman? So that's your next question. And the third question, and there are only 3 questions today, and then I'm going to give you some homework. The third question is, how are you going to feel when you are implementing this amazing self-care and you're experiencing these things that you've just identified in terms of the impact of that? How are you going to feel? Because for me, I feel energized, content, excited, relaxed. I feel loving towards myself. I feel kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I feel kind of like I'm expanding into life. And so much of life we can contract. And when I take care of myself, I'm expanding out into life. I'm more open to what life has for me. So how are you going to feel? And I want you can start by just kind of like thinking consciously about these feelings. But I want you to close your eyes. Okay, I'm going to do it now. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to visualize yourself taking care of yourself in this way that you've just identified as your ideal way. And I want you to begin to build this picture, okay, in your mind, and just notice the impact that it's having on you and on your children and on your romantic partners if you have one, or many, and on your friends and your family and on your work. And just notice these feelings that you have when you've put all of this in place. and start to feel those feelings in your body, and it feels so good. And I want you just to really sit, take some nice deep breaths, and just enjoy those feelings. These feelings that you will feel as you implement this wonderful self-care. Okay, so let me talk to you about homework. There is only one thing that I want you to do as homework, and I really encourage you to do it today, so that when tomorrow's video comes and tomorrow we start to talk about what might be stopping you, you've already done this homework, because there's nothing worse than these things backing up and backing up and backing up, and then it just becomes a millstone around your neck, which is not self-care. So your homework today is, I want you to physically write down on a piece of paper or in a journal, I want you to physically write down everything that you would love to include in your self-care plan. Like, what would this ideal self-care look like? And if that means that you go away for a weekend once a month, or you're booked in for a massage every week, like, even though that might not be realistically possible right now, whether that's time or money or whatever, it doesn't matter. If that's what you would love to have in place, write it down. Focus on your ideal self-care plan. And then I want you to choose one thing, okay? Just one thing that you are going to build into every day of your life for the rest of this 5-day challenge, okay? And keep it simple, okay? So just one thing. So write out your ideal self-care, everything that would look like, and then choose one thing. And that is the one thing that I want you to implement every day for this 5-day challenge. So please email me with any questions or insights or concerns that you might have as a result of this video, or if you are taking part with this challenge within my Facebook group, which is called Discovering Yes, and if you're not a member of it yet and you want to be, go ahead and join, and I'll kind of welcome you right in. Come and post in there, and let's use the hashtag self-care success. Hashtag self-care success. And it will just mean that anyone who's taking part in this challenge in the Facebook group can search for any related posts. But let me know what it's like for you to write down your ideal self-care plan. And if you would like to share the one thing that you are going to choose to put into your life every day during this 5-day challenge, please share that as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the Facebook group. I'm really looking forward to receiving your emails, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow for day 2 of the 5-day challenge, Self-Care Success for Mamas. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.